Well, hello, Canadian Campaholic here, coming to you from inside the camper on a absolutely frigid late October evening. Man, oh man, it's been pretty warm around here lately, and then last night the temperature dropped to almost freezing, and we've had a bit of hail, and not as cold as winter, but oh boy, when it's damp, it sure goes through to your bones. The reason I wanted to post this video today is to address a topic that will probably have a lot of Ontario Parks campers talking today, and that's an announcement from Ontario Parks. For our US friends, that's our version of the state parks. An announcement about changing the maximum duration of camp reservations or camping reservations at some of the province's most popular locations. So I'm not going to read the whole email, but basically they reevaluated the length of stay that is permitted at some of their busiest parks. And starting in 2023, for what they consider the peak summer operating season, the maximum length of stay will be reduced from 23 nights down to 7 nights or 14. So there's a group of parks where your maximum stay you can do is 7 nights, and there's going to be some where it's 14 nights. And again, this is only typically going to be at very busy provincial parks. So we'll go through the list in a minute, but Pinery Provincial Park, for example, one of the busiest in the province, 1,000 campsites, regularly packed full from June to end of August. It would apply there. So these caps on length of stay will affect all stays between July 1st and the Saturday of Labor Day. And that's interesting because a lot of these provincial parks get quite busy as early as May 2-4 and through June. So it's interesting that they're not starting this until July. But I guess July and August would definitely be the busiest time of all. So basically, what's pushed this, I think, is just the huge surge in camping. Those of you that know me and know the channel know that I camped a lot as a kid, but as a family, we started about 10 years ago. And at that point, the provincial parks, yeah, they were pretty busy, but nowhere near as busy as they are now. According to the government statistics, they had 4.3 million camper nights in 2014, which is around about the year we got our tent trailer. And it has jumped to over 6.6 million camper nights in 2021. Now, I'd be interested to see where those camper nights have landed in 2022, because in 2021, it was very hard to travel. There were a lot of restrictions, and a huge number of people were trying out camping as a way to still have a vacation of sorts when they couldn't fly. However, with restrictions lifting and people traveling around the globe, maybe that number has dropped. But anyway, that's a big jump. You know, over 2 million more camper nights between 2014 and 2021. And they state here, it has become more difficult for people to make reservations at some of our busiest parks. And that's very true. I used to try and book my reservations about 5 months in advance. Heck, sometimes even less than that, 2 or 3 months in advance. I had particular sites that I really liked. Usually it wasn't an issue booking them. But now, I mean, even if you get on at 7 a.m. when that booking window opens 5 months in advance, chances are what I think is a good campsite and what many of you will think is a good campsite, that will correlate. And so competition is fierce. Their thought process here is that by reducing the maximum length of stay, it'll be a more fair chance for people to go and stay at provincial parks. 7-night maximum stay between July 1st, Canada Day, and the Saturday of long Labor Day weekend, I should say, affects, I'm going to put them on the screen here, the list, but we've got Algonquin, Bon Echo, Killbear, Pinery, and Sandbanks. Maximum length of stay for 14 nights between July 1st and Labor Day weekend. We've got, a huge list. I'm not going to read them to you, but there's some in here like Arrowhead, Owenda, Craigleith, Darlington, Emily Rowe, Inverhuron, Long Point, McGregor Point is in here, Point Farms, which we go to all the time, Port Burwell, Rainbow Falls, Rideau River, Rondo, pretty much all of the very extreme. Oh, Turkey Point, yeah, southwestern Ontario provincial parks are affected by that. And then anything that's not on the list, which I've just put on the screen here, will still have a maximum length of stay of 23 nights. So what's my perspective on this? What do I think? Well, first of all, I think this is going to make a lot of people really pissed off. You're never going to make everybody happy. And when it comes to camping, like anything else in life, it's a mixture of honest, hardworking folk who do care about their fellow human beings. But then you got a lot of selfish pricks with more money than decency. And I think that when it comes to people that are staying for 23 nights or rather long reservations, in this case, let's say more than 2 weeks, you've got people in both camps. And I think for some folks that are, this is their one vacation a year and they only go once, this could be very detrimental to them. So I can see their point of view. But I can also see some of the jackasses out there getting really aggravated by this. And being very, very upset. I think there may be other ways that Ontario parks could maybe tackle the problem of the lack of availability. I think one of the things that they should really look at clamping down on is people that book reservations for campsites and then don't show up for several days. If you watched any of my videos, rather, from this past camping season, on a couple of occasions at Point Farms and Pinery, 2 of the parks that are on this list, there were many, many empty campsites that sat empty for several days, and I checked online, folks. I confirmed they were booked for the nights that they were empty. So it seems to me that one of the things that it doesn't appear that Ontario Parks is enforcing is the rule that if you don't show up by, 8 a.m. the day after arrival, you forfeit your site. I don't think they're holding that policy up and reinforcing it at all. I don't envy them. That wouldn't be easy to do because some people are just ignorant. You hear horror stories of people that don't listen to the 2 p.m. check-in time. They go to the park at like 11 a.m. and are very upset that somebody's still in their site. Well, no duh. Check out is 2 p.m. and check in is 2 p.m. So why are you showing up early? I've heard stories of campers sitting in their vehicles with their camper hooked up, just basically staring at the people in the campsite, hoping that they'll get out sooner. Like, it's craziness. And I can see folks, traveling 3-4 hours with their gaggle of kids and all their gear and getting to Pinery, being told, oh, sorry, you didn't show up, so we've canceled your reservation. That could get ugly. I think no matter what way you slice and dice this, there's no easy solution for Ontario parks, but I do agree there is a problem. It's not equitable. It's not accessible to everybody. Some people don't have thousands of dollars or even hundreds of dollars to spend on camping reservations many months in advance. Another example that's kind of aggravated this is I'm pretty sure that non-reservable sites have been abolished in most provincial parks. There always used to be a handful of sites that you couldn't reserve in advance, and you'd show up at the gate, and then you would book it with the attendant at the gate. And I think they almost completely, if I'm not mistaken, got rid of that and made everything reservable. But anyway, I digress. I think that, this comes in ebbs and flows. I think that as more people can travel and fly and get around, that maybe the demand on camping will ease off a little bit. I'll be very curious next season to see what impact, if any, this has at the parks that I travel to. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think that this change to the reservation policy is fair? Do you think it makes sense? Do you think it will make a difference? Or is this just government meddling? Is there something else that perhaps the provincial government could be doing to fix this? If you're in the U.S., what are some of the reservation policies that you see in the U.S.? Or is it, an absolute cluster, what, getting reservations down there as well? Really, really don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't think it'll really affect us much. Jesus, I wish I had the money to go and stay for 23 nights at a time, or hell, even 7 nights at a time. That would be bliss. The most we can ever afford to do is about 3 at a time. I don't get that much time off from my employer, and I don't usually have that much cash laying around. But anyway, we'll wrap this video up here. Hope you guys are staying warm and staying safe, and we'll talk to you later.